listening to the DSW podcast with James Ledger.
Right, so welcome back to the Disability Sport Wales podcast. Me, your host, T11 sprinter, James Ledger. I have a very special show today, which I'm really excited for. We're going to be talking all things women in sport and the Para Sports Festival. My very special guest today is Welsh fly half and senior officer for the Para Sports Festival, Robyn Wilkins. How are you doing, Robyn?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Where are you currently at the moment?
So currently in Bangor, so just north of Auckland, New Zealand. It's like home though with the weather, plenty of rain.
Certainly is, because you are currently at the Women's Rugby World Cup, aren't you?
Yeah, I am indeed.
How's it all going? 2 games in?
Yeah, 2 games in, 1 game to go now in the group stages. So Saturday, big one against Australia. Kind of all to play for to get through to the quarters. So really excited, but a big week ahead now.
Amazing. So before we get into it, Robyn, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So kind of balancing being a, professional rugby player alongside my role with Disability Sport Wales. So like you mentioned, I'm the senior officer for the Para Sport Festival, which happens next year. It'll be in July. So it happens over a course of a week, once a year. And we look to bring competitive events, but also participation events together to increase the opportunities, particularly for people living with disability.
Fantastic. And you mentioned it there, and I want to touch base first about the rugby, because how did you get involved in rugby? Has it always been your sport? I know you're from Bridgend originally.
Yeah, so growing up, Dad played rugby, so I remember growing up watching tapes of him play. He played for Bridgend, Aberafon. He was fortunate enough to get a cap for Wales as well. So I think it's always been kind of the sport I've been almost destined to kind of play. I've tried probably every other sport, particularly in secondary school, netball, hockey, even rowing and things like that. But rugby's always been the sport that has stuck.
Certainly is. And to talk about that kind of Welsh pride and kind of playing for Wales, and what's it like, wearing that red of Wales and kind of hearing that national anthem when you go out to play for Wales?
Yeah, no, it's an amazing feeling. It's one I think as you get older, you don't take for granted. I think probably if I look back at being 18, 19-year-old self, you probably don't appreciate the position you're in. Now I'm a bit older, 8, 9 years down the line, kind of standing there and singing the anthem. It could be the last time I sing it. So each time's really kind of emotional. Always try and find parents in the crowd if they've come to watch. Luckily, Mum has brought a Welsh bucket hat to the World Cup. It's really easy to pinpoint at the moment.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it's amazing. I think with rugby being the national sport, there's such passion and pride in wearing that shirt, and something that I know all us girls don't take for granted.
That's amazing. And I think, women's sport has gone through a huge change over the last few years, and it's been amazing to see, like the women's rugby getting so much more coverage now, and the women's football as well at the minute as well. Like, how important is that kind of media coverage, kind of shaping women's sports? How have you seen it change over the years yourself?
I think probably on a personal level, with contracts coming in this year, straight away there's massive change in terms of kind of media and the awareness. I think that's been massive. New Zealand done a really good job just being out here. You can see, you're just walking the streets of Auckland, for example, and people are coming up, and as soon as they hear the accent, they're straight away, they can click on that you're here for the World Cup. So there's been a massive change. I think the success, even maybe not from a Welsh point of view, but England football, you can see straight away how that has helped support women's sport as a whole. And I think it's something that everyone can work together. Football, netball, now with them qualifying for the World Cup, everyone can kind of help one another along to raise that awareness in sport, in women's sport, for sure.
It's fantastic. And I've been following the World Cup because, obviously you're a core member of our team, so I wanted to keep up to date with what you're doing. And even I found the World Cup website is fantastic, with all the results and even all the stats of players, of how many minutes of people have played, how many tackles they made is amazing. It seems really accessible for people to kind of tune in and watch, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. Even things like that. So probably before it was hard to kind of track maybe even number of caps and things like that, whereas now there's a lot more detail that goes into the game, and that is probably also seen with the support we get. So analysis and all the backroom staff, that as well is growing, particularly this year.
And with that, with more kind of coverage, then it creates role models, doesn't it? And how important are then kind of women's role models in sport?
Oh, it's massive. I think, growing up, my role model was dad. I didn't see women playing rugby. So I think it's so important. It's amazing when you see young girls come into the game and you can see they're inspired to take up the sport. And whether it's rugby, football, netball, I think it's just so important to get involved in sport. There's so many benefits. Key one is the friendship, and mental health's a massive thing at the moment, but it is true. A lot of the girls in the team, they've made friends for life now. Even when you retire, it's quite nice this year. They've started bringing in ex-international kind of rooms. So when we play in Cardiff, they have a room specifically for ex-internationals, which they haven't had in the past. I know they have for the men, because I've been along with dad before, but now they have for women. I think it's so important that everyone, so we kind of grow from the role models that were there when I was younger, and we still keep them in the loop, and we kind of just grow on kind of their legacy. And now with the contracts, that's a new legacy that we've left in place. And hopefully, we talk about leaving the shirt in a better position. Hopefully we've kind of done that now with those contracts coming in.
Amazing. And what advice would you give to any young girl who may be starting their sporting journey? What advice would you give to them?
I think it's kind of probably corny, but obviously making sure they enjoy it. But don't be scared to try loads of different sports. So I could easily say, play rugby. But the big thing is you will find that sport that is perfect for you, that you will love. And I think, don't be afraid to have a go at everything, and kind of you will find what is perfect for you. Like I said, luckily for me, rugby was perfect. But yeah, find what you love.
And it's so true. And, it might not even be the first sport you try, is it? It might be the second or third, but there's certainly definitely something out there for everyone, isn't there?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think my first sport was ballet and gymnastics. So I've kind of gone different spectrum, ended up in rugby. I don't think I would have been graceful enough for gymnastics, and definitely not graceful enough for ballet.
Yeah, I'm sure that, maybe that helped you with some of your side steps, maybe deep down.
I'm still waiting to show off a side step.
It'll come, I'm sure. So, Robyn, you're not just an incredible rugby player, but as we've mentioned, you're a key member of our core staff and core family at Disability Sport Wales. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what your role is and what you do as a senior officer for the Parasport Festival?
Yeah, sure. So I was really fortunate. So the start of this year, I was a science teacher. I worked at Bayside School, really supported school, give me time off and things like that for rugby. But there came a time where I got offered a contract and I couldn't get kind of the mornings off I needed to take it. So that kind of gave me the motivation. Actually, I want to be involved in sport. and luckily come across this role now with Parasport Festival with Disability Sport Wales, and it came at a perfect time. It was literally, I was having an interview on the Monday, and then Johan rang me on the Sunday the night before, offering me a contract. So it kind of all came at once, and it kind of worked out amazingly. So I was able to obviously get this role. So I do my role with Disability Sport Wales part-time, and then I'm also part-time with WIU. So in terms of my role, for the first time this year, Disability Sport Wales organised and held the Parasport Festival. So like I said, it happens over a week down in Swansea. So use Swansea University campus, so the athletics track, swimming pool, that area. And that works alongside paratriathlon and Ironman, which sees massive amount of benefits. So Ironman in particular, it's a massive brand. So the fact we can work alongside them brings in such amazing awareness and sponsorship that maybe we actually wouldn't be able to access. So over that course of the week, we have, like I said, competitive events, but also we have like a come try event. So this year that happened on the Monday, and what we had was 20 plus different sports, and children, young people, adults. It could be disabled, non-disabled, everyone could come and have a go at these 20 plus events, which, you know, was amazing to see. It was opportunities that maybe some people couldn't access without that. So in terms of my role, so we've got funding now to do that for 3 years. So my role is to grow, get more competitive events, but also kind of just grow numbers and publicity around the Parasport Festival.
Fantastic. And I went myself, and it was an incredible event, and it was I'm sure it was going to get even bigger and bigger, and even more hard work probably, but it's going to be so worth it. And you know, we work so much with WIU as a whole, don't we? They provide some fantastic kind of disability sessions throughout Wales, don't they? They do so much for disability sport.
Yeah, they kind of lead in the way in terms of disability sport in Wales, and you know, that's quite nice, and also makes me proud that I'm involved with WIU from a personal aspect with rugby, but also I can work with them from a working point of view, and it makes it quite a lot easier then to actually combine two and build those relationships, particularly starting new into the role. Rugby gives me an opportunity to have something to talk about. We're all kind of on the same wavelength. We all love our sport. So I think that was kind of another kind of turning point of why I wanted to get into sport. So I love the fact now for a living, I'm involved, I live, breathe sport, which is probably what I've always wanted to do.
And it's beautiful, isn't it? Because you're almost kind of sitting on both sides, which is really nice. You're playing what you love, but you're also kind of involved in creating opportunities for other people to love sport as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, I've always been lucky. I've been given the opportunities. I've had really supportive parents that have allowed me to have a go at any sport really I wanted to. So it's really nice to be able to kind of give that back and help in a way that I can with this role. But also, like you mentioned, I am on the other side in terms of competitive events. So I know what competitors want out of their events, how hopefully it should be ran. So it's using that kind of knowledge that I've had from being involved and putting that to good use with the Parasport Festival.
And I think, how important are events like the Parasports Festival? You know, we talked about kind of, you know, women's sport and the coverage and the publicity, but as well as like how important are events like the Parasports Festival?
I think it's massive. I think, you know, everyone should have an opportunity to access sport. It's such a powerful tool that you can use, like I mentioned before, mental health, but physical health, getting people out there, making friends, and also keeping fit. I think it gives people opportunities in life and actually something to aim for and aspirations, which is so important. And then, from a Welsh and Swansea point of view, it puts Swansea on the map. So one thing we want to do with it is showcase Swansea as a whole, that it can hold these massive sporting events. So whether they're world events, European events, we want to put Swansea on the map for that reason as well.
Certainly. And being a Swansea boy, I love that. So my last question, Robyn, and again, it's searching for your advice again. It's what advice would you give, to maybe parents and participants that might want to come to the kind of grassroots community-based section of the Parasports Festival and they may be unsure about it. What advice would you give to them?
I think first and foremost, there's loads of information online. So if you head to the Parasport Festival website, or if you head to Disability Sport Wales website, straight away they'll be able to get more information, but also there should be contact details. So if there are any questions, things like that, they can fire them across. But come and have a go. The atmosphere this year was amazing. Everyone smiles on faces. Whether it's they're going to come and have a go or if they want to come watch and see what it's all about. It could be a case that they're a bit anxious and conscious this year, but we're running it next year, or even next year they're conscious for, but we're running it again then in 2024. So come and have a go, see what it's about, and then if you're confident and it looks something appealing, come and have a go. But yeah, the big thing is probably research before coming and head to the website.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Robyn, for joining us. I know you're very busy, and I really appreciate you joining us in between your round matches. And thank you so much for being on the show.
That's not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all our listeners and viewers as well. Be sure to check out the episode on all platforms. And again, thank you to Robyn and from myself and everyone at Disability Sport Wales. As you know, we're wishing you all the best of luck for the World Cup. And we'll see you very soon. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr. I'm Robyn Wilkins, and you're listening to the Disability Sport Wales podcast.